guys, it's Nicole and welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of repotting some seedlings that I have. If you haven't seen part 1, go ahead and check it out. I'm just going through all of my orchids and repotting the ones that urgently need to get into new pots. And in today's video, we're going to finish up the repotting on these guys and then get these guys in some larger pots as well. So if you guys like these kinds of videos, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more orchid content. Let's get to repotting these guys. All right, so let's start off with this BLC Robert's Choice D. Given its small size, I'm gonna put it in this small pot. I love this freaking sphagnum moss. It is, look at the strands, they're so long. So I'm gonna put some strands in here on the bottom. And we're gonna put the orchid in there. I think I'm just gonna use all moss for this because the root system is still so small. It's a clay pot, it's small, it's gonna dry out very quickly, so I'm okay with using this moisture retentive medium. I wish I could find clay pots up here in sizes that are different. Sometimes when I go to my local Home Depot, they sell only 4 and 6 inch. I wish they had 3 inches. These pots here I got on a trip to North Carolina to visit family at a Lowe's because I typically don't find this. And then when you order on Amazon, they just don't, it's just so expensive it doesn't make sense. So I always try to get it when I see it at Lowe's. And we just don't have the amazing garden centers that they do out down in Florida and I don't know, New York City, we don't really have that much by way of orchid resources. All right, this one is all done. I'll create a tag for it when it's done. Okay, now this one is the Dendrobium, a Second Love Keiki. It's got a beautiful root system. This is a keiki repotted November 18th of 2020. So this is still pretty recent. I'm gonna upgrade it to this pot here. And we're gonna put some moss on the bottom and then we're gonna add some husk. So we're gonna put that at the very bottom. It could soak up some moisture. I'm gonna grow them on a tray and I'll put some of the water will be on the bottom and they could suck it all up. So we're gonna put that here. And then we're gonna get some coconut fiber and put it all around this wonderful root system. Be careful with the root system as I'm putting it down. Let's see. This is my second Dendrobium nobile. I do have another nobile which has bloomed for me last year. And I bloomed them in my apartment here in New York City by putting them on my fire escape to give them a proper, dry winter rest. So that's my little cheat. This guy is too small. I think I will just let it grow this fall before I give it a dry winter rest. But let me add a little bit of coconut husk to this. But I do love my my nobile that I have. I'll put pictures so you guys could see it. But oh man, it's fragrant. She's got beautiful flowers. She's not very big, so that's nice. And this year, her canes have doubled, so I think I'm in for a nice show this fall when she blooms. So Dendrobium Second Love, this keiki is done, and this will be in here for a while. All right, now let's move on to these other orchids right over here. So I got these awesome seedlings from Michael McCarthy. Thank you, Michael. This is the LNT Meadow Gold crossed with the Guarian Ariatica. I don't know how to say anything these days. Well, I'm getting some resistance from this orchid, so I think what we're gonna have to do is cut it. So let's get in here. Let's see. Yeah, this was due for a repot. Michael, this was perfect. Look at this. Look at these roots. They look great. This pot, yeah, this is gonna go in a big boy pot now. I actually might put it in Leca. It looks big enough that it can handle it. Let's see. So this is the ID. I think it's the, I don't even know what to call it. Was it Lelianth Meadow Gold? But Varianth, Arantiad? I don't even know. I say so many of these names incorrectly. But we've got 2 new growths coming in. Oh my gosh, look at this amazing root system. I'm gonna fast forward here so that you guys don't have to see me go through this, but this is a great looking root system right now. So I'm gonna get rid of the seedling bark and come back to get this in its new setup. What a really nice looking root system, guys. I'm gonna rinse this out in the sink in a bit, but now that's an amazing root system. And it was in this little cup. So this is ready for a big boy pot. This is gonna be a nice one. All right, I'm gonna put that to the side and then we will work on this one, which I have a feeling is gonna be very similar. Let's see. Yeah, there's not much give here. I'm gonna just cut through a bit and let me actually sterilize them. All right, they are in my Fizan solution before I touch any different roots. Ooh, this one has even thicker roots. Check that out. Oops, I got bark all over. Let's see. Let me cut through once more. Yeah, this one has got even thicker roots. These look great. You can really grow in anything. This was from a shot glass, which is perfect for a seedling, and it doesn't cost a thing. Meanwhile, you get a 2-inch pot like that from Repotme, and it's like $1.50, $2. I'm done with Repotme pots. They're so expensive. All of your roots just grow right through your pots. And I'm just like, what's the point when I have to cut through it after, a few months? All right, this is a really good looking root system. We'll fast forward here and then I'll come back and then we'll repot these guys after I've rinsed out both of the root systems. There's really not even much to cut out here. All of these roots are alive. Michael, you took really good care of these. Like, there's nothing dead here. Looks incredible. Alrighty guys, I've cleaned up the seedlings as much as possible. We have a little bit of bark there just because it's seedling bark, so it tends to stick a little bit to the roots. We've got 3-inch self-watering pots here. I've got Leca next to me, so I think these guys are mature enough to go into Leca. We may lose a few roots, however, I noticed a few new growths on some of these, and I think this will in general handle it. So we'll start with this orchid over here. We'll get a layer of Leca inside, and hopefully this will take over the pot. So let's start with adding our Leca to the pot. Create a little bottom layer here. All right. And all of that Leca has been cleaned and soaked. For a while, I actually store it inside of, in water, and then give it a rinse before use. And yeah, I think this is a good size for it. I have a feeling it'll take over quickly though, which is fine. These can be easily potted up. And I'm okay with this being a smaller pot just because if we lose any roots, I can easily clean it up if I repot in a couple of months, if that makes sense. So we want this leca to be nice and tight to wick the water up. My cat's gonna be coming by any second now. She knows that sound of leca. Yep, here she comes. Just like clockwork, she's gonna jump on the table looking at what's going on. In 3, 2, 1. She's staring. Yep. Hey, she's scratching a chair. Oh my gosh, let me stop. All right, she's done scratching and now she's on getting to the top of the table. But anyway, this guy is all done. I'm gonna top it off with a layer of pebbles. I'm gonna also squeeze a little to make sure it's as tight as possible. And I did notice one little thing here. I think it might be a little fungal thing with the leaf. I'm gonna go ahead and take my sterilized scissor, which, by the way, I have it here, in a shot glass in some Finalizing 20 with water. I'm gonna actually cut this off. This was my fault for spraying these guys a little too much. And look who just joined. Jeez, no respect. No respect. I spray these guys down in the morning and I think I may have left it too wet one day. So we're not gonna take chances with this and take this off. I'm gonna spray the rest of it with Finalizing 20 and we'll top this off and this one is all done. The level of disrespect is just so ridiculous with this cat. No matter how many times I tell her no, she just does not care. All right, so this is a good size. Get rid of that root there. These roots are pretty much like 100% fine. This is great. I'm gonna pot this towards the corner there because the new growths are coming in from this direction. And let me get some of that leca going. So I hope it makes sense as to why I pot some seedlings in organic and others in leca. Basically, I just want the root system to be more established because this could be a harsher way to grow. You may lose some roots. And I don't want some of the seedlings just have such few amounts of roots that you could really stress them out. So I like to wait until they look more established. Sort of like this orchid, which has much more, many more roots. This one looks good. And then I may have to repot this in a couple of months. And then what I'll do is I'll clean up any roots that die on the bottom. So you may lose some roots, you may not. It depends on the orchid. Typically, I find if you grow something in moss and you kept it moist, your roots don't die on you. If you had it in chunky bark and gave pretty deep wet dry cycles, those tend to die off because it's a completely different environment. I've had exceptions though. I've had my Neophonetia falcata. Its roots, the original roots where it was in bark, those did not die off, which was interesting because I didn't think it was getting very moist, but maybe it was just very humid in the nursery. So that was one that surprised me. So these always act a little bit different, but this looks good. Now, this yellow leaf may fall off at some point. We'll let it do that naturally. It's the first leaf of the seedling, but otherwise this looks amazing. I'm gonna top these guys off and then finish off here. Alrighty guys, I'm topping these guys off with some pebbles and that keeps it nice and moist in there. As I keep saying, leca is very harsh and the top layer can be very dry. And especially with seedlings, you don't want that top layer to touch one of those dry pieces of leca and then they'll die off on you. So that's the whole purpose of the top layer here. It's just to keep everything nice and humid inside. That leca is nice and airy, so it's giving a nice environment to those roots. However, they will have to adapt to them. So I will keep you guys updated on how this is doing. But these should do just fine in this setup. I'm going to give them a little bit of a boost adapting by watering the first few waters with some Super Thrive. And I'm going to give it some kelp as well. So it should help it out. And in a couple of months, I get the sense that I'm going to have to repot this guy into a bigger pot. And I'm okay with it because some of these roots may die off. And I'm okay doing a cleanup, cutting it, and then giving it a permanent setup in a much larger pot. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this repot. I hope this all makes sense on why I put them in the different systems. For Cattleyas, ultimately, I like to put them in Leca, but when they're seedlings, I want to wait until they get a little bit bigger. I think these guys are going to do amazing here, and I'll keep you updated on progress. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys soon. Bye!